4 is honoring Black history. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
Welcome to News 4's Honoring Black History Special. I'm Jeff Verall. Right now we are in Buffalo's Michigan Street African American Heritage Corridor, which is an up-and-coming neighborhood. At its core is the Michigan Street Baptist Church, which was a stop on the Underground Railroad and has a devoted faith community. It was recently renovated, and I had a chance to get an update on its progress and its future development. It's the Michigan Street Baptist Church that first welcomes you as you go into the African American Heritage Corridor. Among the brick structures that are here, it's the church that serves as a symbol for freedom.
We are definitely headed in the right direction.
That's Lily Wiley Upshaw. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who knows more about the Michigan Street Baptist Church than her.
Much of what you see today is the original work of the founding members of this church. The founding members of this church were freedom seekers, which meant they escaped enslavement, came to Buffalo, and made a home. This church is really in honor of all of their legacy and the work they did around and in part of the abolitionist movement.
She says critical decisions were made here.
The people who lived and who lived in Buffalo and who were members of this church were very active in the abolitionist movement. When freedom seekers would come to Buffalo, they sheltered them. When there were issues of the day, like should we confront enslavement through violence or peace, how can we dismantle it? People in this church met here in this space. They talked about those issues. In
recent years, extensive renovations have been done here, like fixing the south end wall of the building, which collapsed before the pandemic hit.
Since that time, we have done all of the structural stabilization, which means that this church will stand for another 400 years. Everything has been taken care of. And all of that work was completed in 2022.
Last month, the church had a big grand opening, celebrating the completion of major interior renovations.
The team that did the stenciling, when you come into the church, you'll notice there's some very detailed stenciling all throughout the church. And that was a process that they painstakingly looked at historic photographs, mapped out the size and the dimension of the patterns and then restored them exactly. And we are just thrilled with how it looks. It's just absolutely beautiful.
As for future development, the Michigan Street Baptist Church has plans to build an annex on its north side as a way to improve accessibility into the church.
There will be accessible restrooms in the new build, as well as an elevator that will help to take people who are wheelchair bound from the sanctuary to the lower level.
The new building, along with a community garden, would also add space for more church programming. The additions are expected 2 years from now.
When we have the annex completed, we'll just be able to elevate what we can do for the community.
A big reason for development here is the influx of financial support from the state.
We're so happy because we have gotten such support. The Empire State Development has been investing a huge amount of resources into this project, and so we really have to thank our governor. We have to thank our whole Empire State Development team that's here in Buffalo, because we are utilizing, they're investing in what we're doing down here in the corridor. So the annex building, we have all of the funding that we need to be able to construct the building.
And with development underway throughout the corridor, the plan is to make Buffalo even more of an attraction for visitors.
We are really focused on creating an international heritage tourism destination. We are not only focused on saving these spaces because they're sacred, they're important, they should be saved, but we're also focused on revitalizing this neighborhood.
You're invited to check out this Buffalo landmark, which is on the National Register of Historic Places.
I hope that other people will take this as a time too to say, well, let me stretch beyond maybe what is my comfort zone and come and investigate and be a part of this so I can learn a little bit more about something.
Over 60 years ago, the UB Bulls were invited to the Sunshine State for the Tangerine Bowl. It was a big honor after an amazing season for the team. But when the team learned that its 2 African-American players were not welcome, they had to change their game plan. News 4's Carl Jones shares the story of when faced with racism, the UB Bulls did not back down.
He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Buffalo!
Leading up to the 1958 season, Buffalo head coach Dick Offenheimer knew he had a special group on his hands.
He said, listen to what's going on in the locker room. He says they're laughing and joking, and they just got through knocking the snot and slobber out of each other for over an hour.
The Bulls finished that season 8-1, and as a result, they were awarded the Lambert Cup, given to the best small college football team in the eastern United States.
The big kicker was when Nick Bettini and Lou Reel were on the Ed Sullivan Show, and they presented the cup to them on the Ed Sullivan Show. That convinced all of us that that was a pretty big deal.
Shortly after, Buffalo was invited to the Tangerine Bowl, their first bowl game in program history. But there was a catch. They could only participate if the team's 2 black players, Willie Evans, the star halfback, and Mike Wilson, a defensive end, did not play.
I just was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But because of the color of somebody's skin, they weren't going to allow them to play on the field.
To say that you were excluding a person based on the color of their skin, we looked around at each other and said, what?
The university left the choice to participate up to the players. They were prepared to hand out secret ballots to vote, but then...
Forget the ballots, we're not going.
That sentiment was unanimous throughout the team.
To be in unison, to be in lockstep, and for everyone to say, no, we're not playing. You know, yeah, could there, a couple people over here in a situation like that said, what are we doing? We want to go down to Florida. It's 25 degrees here in Buffalo. Let's go down there. That wasn't the case at all.
Willie Evans was a special player for the Bulls. He led them in rushing for 3 straight seasons. And to this day, he holds the school record for yards per carry. But his special traits transcended beyond the field. Oliverio said the best thing to ever happen to him was having Evans in his life.
Just a humble person, a person that, you know, if he was sitting here, it wasn't about him. You know, it wasn't about him. It wasn't about his other African-American teammate. It was about them as one. And just such a humble person, such a non-assuming person, but also a person that would fight for what's right.
Evans worked in the Buffalo Public Schools for over 30 years as a coach and educator. However, he passed away in 2017, and for his impact throughout the Buffalo community, UB renamed a residence hall in his honor.
When you do have that name up there and you're a freshman that's living over there in those residential halls and you see the name, you know, what do? You look it up, okay? I walk through this area all the time. Who's Willie Evans?
Nate Bliss said his teams didn't mention or even bring up the bowl game for decades. But then things changed when UB received another bowl bid in 2008. Despite the 50-year gap, Bliss said there were no regrets on their decision.
Dan Valkenburg, he was the backup quarterback for the 3rd string 1958 team. He says, you know, it's starting to annoy me and embarrass me for getting thanked to do the right thing.
Dick Offenheimer was right. His team was special, not just for their success on the field, but for their bond as brothers in the face of adversity.
Discover the Museum of African Diaspora in San Francisco, where the global journey of African culture comes to life through art, music, food, and history. MOAD celebrates African culture, supports local artists, and offers educational programs for children, bringing this rich legacy to life for future generations, honoring Black history through stories and experiences that inspire and connect us all.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
Slip and fall? Give Birkin a call, 716-855-FALL. Be compensated for injuries and pain and suffering.
I'm attorney Robert Birkin. When someone fails to maintain the property and you're injured by a slip and fall, don't wait. Give me a call.
If you are injured due to someone else's negligence, call Birkin.
Slip and falls due to cracked sidewalks, holes in the ground, broken railings, broken steps, or snow and ice can cause serious injuries.
Slip and fall? Give Birkin a call, 716-855-FALL.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfel, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
National Overhead Doors, this area's leader in commercial garage doors service and replacement. With a huge inventory of styles and sizes, along with custom in-house fabrication, you can count on National for fast, reliable service at affordable prices. Open with the best.
Kia Telluride came up behind and smacked the rear end of me. I went to the hospital. They said it was whiplash. I have retained an attorney.
We utilize computer analysis to determine what is wrong and then send it to your attorney. We are here for you.
Well, you can't talk about black culture without talking about black influence in the arts. Our Chelsea Lavelle went to talk to a local theater that has been amplifying and celebrating black voices on stage for decades.
Art is an integral part of culture. It's how we express ourselves, it's how we understand each other, and it's how we connect. As we celebrate Black History Month, we bring you the story of Ujima Theater Company, an African-American repertory theater focusing on creating work by and for people of color. And the legacy of this theater company and their founder, Lorna C. Hill, continues through another generation.
My mother founded Ujima in 1978.
Hill was inspired to create a theater company while studying at Dartmouth College in the 70s, where she met her husband, who brought her back to start their lives together in his hometown, Buffalo, New York.
She found community here and like-minded folk, and those were that was our starting company of Ujima and also our founders of Ujima Theater Company.
46 years later, that company is still producing award-winning shows like their production of The Color Purple in 2023. There are theater opportunities. There are different productions and stages and companies. However, not all of them have a plethora of roles for people of color to be able to fulfill or step into. So I imagine having Ujima as a company with that is their intention, and being very intentional with the stories told here really creates a space for a lot of people.
Absolutely. A thing that I find real about our community is that there is not a lot of space for us, and there's certainly not a lot of space for us to be unapologetically ourselves, be it BIPOC, white, queer. There aren't a lot of spaces for that, and we are always trying to make sure that folks know that we are that space, we are home.
Ujima is a Swahili word meaning collective work and responsibility. This tenet is how they drive their purpose.
We do theater. We consider that our bread and butter, if you will. We do 4 shows a season, but we also make space for rentals and other artwork. We want to make the space for film. We want to make the space for dance. We want to make the film for sculpture and visual art. And the more we keep that space open, the more we are inviting to that, the more we can be inspired and congratulate and affirm each other.
Often, Black storytelling lends to people sharing stories of pain and trauma. But Curtis Lavelle says there's more to us than that.
we are always trying to shine light on the narrative that is Blackness, BIPOCness, if you will, is a thing that is not just living in grief or loss or hardship. It is a thing that is also lived in joy and triumph and reward and beauty. And the thing that I am always trying to pay attention to is, how do I give us a full spectrum? How do I make it known that we are more than our pain, we are more than our ability for resilience and resourcefulness, that sometimes it's necessary just to see us enjoy and in enjoyment of each other.
Ujima has 2 upcoming productions in the works, but beyond that, they have no plans to stop cultivating greatness with anyone that becomes part of the Ujima family.
I think it's bold enough, but also true enough to say that anyone who steps into our space and experiences us becomes successful and is able to further this success. Always cultivating, always honing, always making space for whoever anyone is.
News Nation Saturday. A crackdown takes hold of an out-of-control border. News Nation has exclusive access on the ground and in the air, live.
From the border to American cities.
What's working and what's not. The fight is far from over.
Brian Enton and Ali Bradley host an hour-long primetime special report. Crisis on the Border, on the Front Lines. Saturday, 8, 7 Central, only on News Nation.
When I was hit, my body just went into like total shock. I felt this pain like I'd never experienced before. My lawyer, Gina, she really saved me. She asked me how was I doing, and I broke down in tears. She hugged me, and she let me know that she was there for me, and that if I ever needed anything, I could count on her.
Hi, I'm Anthony Valerio, owner of 4's Chimney. We're a full-service chimney and fireplace company that offers sweeps, inspections, masonry repairs, and fireplace installations to customers across Western New York. For more information, visit 4windschimney.com.
Experience the power and versatility of the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander with sleek modern designs, unexpected luxury, and third-row seating standard. Basil Mitsubishi is offering 0% financing for 72 months on all remaining 2024 Outlanders during our model year-end sell-down. 2 years limited maintenance included and a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Plus, Basil Mitsubishi is offering up to $2,000 trade-in assistance. Shop right now at basilmitsubishi.com.
Wings Flights of Hope provides prompt transportation to medical facilities across the country free of charge to patients and their families. Pilots are 100% volunteer and flights are free because life-saving care shouldn't wait. Please help us save lives. Donate to Wings today.
The Exchange at Beverly Gray has been empowering Black entrepreneurs in Buffalo for years. I visited the business hub to talk to leaders about the incredible services they offer in the businesses they've helped develop.
Welcome to the Exchange at Beverly Gray, a turning point for businesses with an idea in finding their launching pad.
It's a hustling and bustling place.
Named after the late Beverly Gray, a former Buffalo Common Council member, the Exchange opened its doors about 8 years ago and has helped countless businesses get on their path to reaching their potential.
Our goal primarily is to help any BIPOC entrepreneur and business owner throughout the city of Buffalo and Niagara Falls. We are located on the east side, so a lot of the community members who want to start businesses, they come here.
BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. Within its walls, the Exchange offers a range of free services.
So from legal workshop, trademark workshop, finance workshop, credit workshop, right? Those kind of things that we have. So at any stage of your business journey, you can come here for help and assistance.
A majority of the suites at the Exchange are filled with anchor tenants. Getting space here will cost you. On the main floor, you'll find Jamil Cruz, the owner of Cruise Control Media and Pod Hub. Jamil has the pedal at full throttle, launching his own podcasting company.
But I just love the process of creating, right? So I just kind of stuck with it, and here we are 8 years later now, and we have like this amazing agency that we've been able to start.
With lights, cameras, editing software, and his own studio, Jamil works with people who are trying to be the next one with millions of listeners.
Currently, right now, we have about 27 podcasts under production right now. So we have things ranging from sports and entertainment. We have a DE&I podcast that we produce. We have stuff in the tech space as well.
And he's worked with some big names as well, like former NFL star Antonio Brown on a podcast about brain injuries and CTE.
It's Antonio Brown, so I'm sure it did pretty well.
And Jamil isn't just tied to Buffalo. He has the ability to be mobile and put his podcast studio on the road.
Right after this, I'm actually getting on a call with a potential client in New York City, and hopefully we'll be bringing them on as a client, and we'll be traveling down there to produce a podcast for them.
For those starting their own business, Jamil stresses patience, saying it took him several years to actually start making money.
So you have to make a commitment to get started. And once you actually get started, you want to make sure that you remain consistent, in the podcast. Oftentimes people want to see a quick return on the investment.
Years from now, Jamil hopes to look back on these days as a trendsetter.
We are doing the things that is creating new Black history.
I got hurt in a car wreck, but hiring a lawyer sounds like such a hassle.
It's no big deal. It's easier than you think to hire Nicholas Perot, Smith, Bernhardt, and Zoff.
We can often evaluate your case in as little as 5 minutes, and that free 5-minute call could mean the difference of thousands of dollars for you.
They started working for me after just a 5-minute call, and they got me a lot more money than the insurance company was offering.
A 5-minute phone call? Now that's easy.
I'm attorney Dan Smith. Call us. It's just that easy.
I wonder how this mattress compares to that big name brand.
No need to wonder. Hit that button. Let's play Bob's Dare to Compare. My signature hybrid mattress versus the leading brand name hybrid mattress. What are you looking for, Carolina?
Contouring memory foam? Can ship in a box? 20-year warranty.
Just mine has that, and theirs is over $1,000 more. Sure, they're not exactly the same, but is theirs worth so much more? You be the judge when you dare to compare. In store or at mybobs.com.
The legendary Broadway show is back. The Wiz. The Chicago Tribune raves it's an eye-popping, high-intensity revival and a cause for celebration. The music, the voices, the legend returns. Entertainment Weekly says, run, don't ease on down to this spectacular revival. The Wiz. Coming to Shays Buffalo Theater March 4th through 9th. Tickets at shays.org. Part of the 2024-25 5-Star Bank Broadway season.
We've got a VIP at 3 o'clock.
We're gonna go side right, pick, Riptide Blazer, safety key, full boat up 3. On now, ready? They're all VIPs.
Go Team West Her.
Learning about Black history doesn't require a special stop. It can happen on your morning commute. I talked with leaders at the NFTA about how they're taking education on the roads of Buffalo. We are on the NFTA's Black History Month bus. I am joined now by James Morrell, the Director of Public Transit for the NFTA. And happy Black History Month to you, James.
Thank you.
I know we've talked many times before in the past, but this is a special occasion because we're highlighting the Rosa Parks seat. It's all part of the Save the Seat campaign that the NFTA has. Tell us about it.
Sure. So the Save the Seat campaign primarily was to commemorate the efforts of Rosa Parks. It was a statewide initiative that we picked up, changed some of it slightly, but it was basically to provide a commemoration for those individuals that don't know that the efforts that she went through to get on the bus, and we tried to picture it to where it was close to the front of the bus where she was actually sitting, and that's why we selected this particular location, and I think it works.
And this is on every bus, every paratransit bus as well, that's within the NFTA's fleet.
That's right. Every single Metro bus, a full-size bus, as well as our paratransit vehicles.
Mm-hmm. So this has been on, again, the NFTA's fleet all month long. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's something that could possibly stretch into other months of the year, and certainly maybe come back next Black History Month?
Definitely something that we would consider for next year. It will remain on the vehicle for the remainder of Black History Month. We're actually sitting on our Black History Month bus, and it'd be interesting for you guys to take a look at that. So we tried to do comprehensive program for Black History Month to let the individuals that work at NFTA and Metro understand that we appreciate that culture, that this is something that we appreciate and something that we want to push throughout the community.
And again, when we're talking about Rosa Parks and her contributions to the civil rights movement, how important do you think her involvement was, and what do you think people these days remember from her and what she did?
Right. So doing this effort here is twofold. One is to make sure that we're telling the story continuously, because as we age, as we get older, we want to make sure that that story is retold. Secondly, for individuals that were around at that time to go back and say, hey, I remember that. That's something that I read or was involved with when I was a kid. So to see it come back every year, I think would be really important. But I think the most important thing is for young kids to understand that efforts by individuals in the past have paved the way for those individuals today to be able to sit anywhere on a bus, to have equity throughout the community. So I think this is a big thing.
Thank you for watching News 4's Honoring Black History Special. You can find all these stories plus additional information on the people and places featured in this special on our website, WIVB.com. Have a good evening.
Want a flatter, tighter tummy? Then check out new Ab EX from Sono Bello.
After my pregnancies, my body just never bounced back. I had this stomach overhang that made me self-conscious.
Emotionally, it was really sad. Feeling good up here, but you look down and you don't.
After having my babies, it went in different direction. From here, it went to here, and I just couldn't get rid of that.
Introducing Ab EX from Sono Bello. Remove fat and lose excess skin permanently in just one visit.
I got the tummy tuck results without the tummy tuck downtime.
And I finally got the flat stomach I wanted.
I'm able to get back in my size 8 jeans. I feel sexy, I feel confident.
But it feels good to feel good and look good. The mommy belly is gone.
Our flexible payment options make it easy to get started today. Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. Call 1-888-474-6142 or go to sonobello.com.
Hey, Banditland, the back-to-back NLL champs are ready to go, and the games are live on the CW23. Don't miss a minute of the action. Buffalo takes on the Saskatchewan Rush Saturday night at 8 on CW23 WNLO. Know before you go with forewarned weather, certified most accurate. Channel 4 is honoring Black History, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.